Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Yvonne and you are on Ginger Chick Rehab, where I love to take thrifted, pre-loved items and share the process with you all of my vision of making these items over. So in today's video, I am teaming up with IOD for their amazing spring lines. If you have not checked out IOD, oh my goodness, these girls, their imagination, their attention to detail just goes above and beyond. So in today's video, I am taking something that probably should have been thrown in the trash, and I'm sharing with you how to transform it into a useful piece. And sometimes there's imperfections. It doesn't always have to be perfect, and I'm going to share with you how to hide those imperfections. So who couldn't use extra storage? What a nice size this little 2-drawer cabinet is. It's a nice height. You open the doors, it's got 2 shelves for storage. Yeah, let's talk about it nice before we start ripping it apart and all the brokenness that it's got going on. Because I know we can fix it. There's so many positives that I think it can be saved. Yes, I did pay money for it. I am not someone who's lucky enough to get anything for free. So let's get these doors off, these little knobs. Well, there's only one of the knob that help keep the door closed, and get this apart and take a look at it and see what we need to fix. Now the doors are not perfect. I can see that they've got a little bit of warpage going on, but you know, on our finished design, sometimes you just have to work with something and try to hide it. Yes, could you cut new doors? Probably, but is it cost efficient? Does everybody have the means to do that? Not everybody. So we're just going to share with you how adding transfers to an item will help camouflage an item's flaws. So after getting it blown off, now I'm going to go in with some Bondo wood filler and fix all that brokenness. So we have some legs, we have a couple of spots on the door, and we have one on top. So Bondo is a nice product to work with because you pour out how much wood filler you think you need. You add this hardener to it, which this one just happens to be blue. You mix the two together, and as soon as you start mixing them together, it starts reacting. It starts getting hard. So you only got a few minutes to get it on, and then but within 10-15 minutes, it's already sandable. So I really loved this type of wood filler because it makes the process quick. So yeah, this one needs a lot. And I don't know where that wood went. I don't know what happened to that wood. All I know is on both legs, it is missing for some reason. The longer you let it sit, the harder it gets. So the easiest is within the 15 minutes, start to get it sanded. So I'm just using 80 grit sandpaper and trying to make it so that it is smooth and not noticeable. That's a lot of wood filler, but Bondo is permanent. And the more it stays there, the more it hardens. So it is a perfect fix, especially for legs like this, and even for that top. Well, any fix in general. I had so much space to fill up that I didn't get it all. And especially since it's on the legs, I'm going to go ahead and mix up a little bit more of that Bondo and fill in the rest where it is still kind of divoted down. I want this to be it. I don't want there to be holes. I'd like it to be a little bit more smooth. Okay, we sanded those spots. Everything is much smoother. And now I need to seal all this in. I'm going to be using some shellac spray. This is going to even out the porosity between the painted surface, the natural wood, and where that Bondo went. This is not the prettiest looking thing right now, and only paint can help this is for sure. But sealing it in with a couple coats of shellac is going to help my paint bond to this. Pick my paint color. I'm going to go to the box of IOD Spring Release Designs. Oh, wait for it. It is some flowers, transfer Jolie de roses. Oh my goodness. Not only does it have the roses, but it has some beautiful butterflies, some beautiful crackles. We've got some oranges stuck in there, I think. Just some nice little hidden surprises. So I'm going to match up a little bit with the oranges, and I'm going to be doing sweet potato. Yes, I am. I am doing an orange on this cabinet. I said we were going to distract from all that was wrong with that little cabinet, and you are not going to see the flaws. You are going to see this beautiful sweet potato color. So I'm using Sweet Pickins milk paint in sweet potato. So if you've not used Sweet Pickins milk paint, it's a dry powder. It's equal parts powder to equal parts water. You stir it for 2 minutes, and then you let it sit off to the side until it thickens up, like between 2 and 10 minutes. Now I'm going to add Sweet Pickins Extra Bond to this paint mixture. So whatever paint that I have, I'm going to mix half Extra Bond in there. So I'm just eyeballing where on my cup where my paint is, what's half in the next cup, and then I'm going to mix the two together. As I said, the underneath, what's going to be under this paint is not very pretty, and I really don't want a ton of chippiness because I don't want you to see all that Bondo and that natural wood. The blue is a good little accent to this. The others, not so much. So you just mix it in with your paint, paint it on just like you normally would. You let it sit 12 to 24 hours before painting your next coat. So I'm hoping that I don't really get a lot of chippiness or anything like that, just because that's not pretty. There's nothing pretty about this cabinet, what I had to do to it to fix all those spots. Now after I let it sit, I don't need to apply or mix in any more of the Extra Bond. I can just mix up another batch of the Sweet Pickins sweet potato milk paint and just paint it on as it is. So far, so good. It seemed to adhered really well, which is what I was hoping that it would do. I do sometimes, when I get to that second coat, I can feel my paintbrush, my mixture is a little grabby, and I'll just slightly mist it, not soak it, just mist it a little bit with a misting bottle just to help it make my paintbrush so that it just glides over that paint a little bit easier. I think the extra bond did exactly what I needed to do, and it bonded. I don't see much crackling. I don't see much crazing, anything like that. So that's what I was hoping for. I didn't want a lot of that underneath showing through. So I'm just taking some 220 sandpaper and I'm just smoothing everything down. No, I did not remove my hinges off this piece. I painted right over my hinges because it's going to be part of the design. The transfers are going to be going right over those hinges, so I wanted to get those painted and just blend it all in. Off camera, Chris made a couple more of the little knobs that'll hold the doors closed, so he's just going to go ahead and drill out a new hole. He's going to attach them before I finish my whole design, making sure that they work. Help is available. You take the help. I can work around it. He got the hinges back on off camera. Sometimes that's a two-person's job holding those doors up. But now I'm going to go ahead and proceed on sanding the rest of the piece, just making sure that everything is sanded and nice and smooth. And so, if by chance here and there a little chippage happens, that's perfectly fine. But it really did, the extra bond really did what I needed it to do. I really didn't want a ton of chippiness or crackling going on. And not every area can you get in with your orbital sander. So I'm going to go in with some 220 and just hand sand those areas that I could not reach. Now this floral pattern, even though it's all individual pages, it is kind of set up to be an 8-page picture scene. I'm not going to be able to fit all 8 pages onto this little cabinet, but I am going to focus on the little wording that's in the middle too and work from there and see what I can get on. But I don't want to put any of the transfers on these little knobbies that are holding the door closed, so I'm going to go ahead and remove those first. So you can see there's a little bit of a lip on the page, and it's nice that they don't have like a straight line. They just have a little wavy line for you to add the 2 pages together. So I just need to find center. So I have a yardstick at the top. I'm laying my white paper down. I don't want to just set this down and get everything stuck too soon before I'm ready. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm down as far as I can on the bottom, looking to see where my image is, and then I'm looking up at top to make sure that I'm at that halfway point. If it's not completely perfect, it'll be just fine, but you know, it's that perfectly imperfect, but it is so beautiful. So now once I get it laid, I'll start using the rubbing tool and start rubbing it down. So once I get that part rubbed down, then I can work on to the door part. And you can see where I said like the doors are a little bit on the warped side, but sometimes you still work with the item that you have, putting something on it, distracting from it like this beautiful image, in the hopes that somebody's still going to love it. Because I have been to a ton of auctions lately where these fun colors, these primitive colors have come up for auction, and they have been going for good money, money that I only wish I could get for some of my pieces in my area. So it just goes to show you, not everything has to be this perfect, pristine piece. People love character. They truly do love a piece that just talks to them. As I'm using the rubbing tool on the transfer, you can see how it turns chalky. That means it's released, it's on your item. So you just gently lift that grid paper up as you're rubbing down. Just pull it ever so slightly. Now when I get to the space where there's the crack, where the door is, I just ever so slightly lift it and rub, lift it and rub. It'll probably break it apart a little bit, but I don't want to give a big old tug or anything like that. I don't want to pull it up. So sometimes it really doesn't take as long as probably the video shows, but after I get it over that hump, then I take the whole backing off and I can press it right down and proceed on putting the rest of the image down. it's matching that sweet potato so well. I'm so happy. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the other side and we're going to match up, leaving that paper down so that it does, that backing down so that it doesn't grab. And yes, you do spy a birdie. There is a little birdie hidden in here. So you can see through your grid paper. So I'm just matching up the areas. If it's not perfect, it's okay, you guys, but try to match up to the best of your ability. They give a nice grid pattern. That way you can tell that your lines are going straight, so use it. Though I'm not going to be putting all 8 images on here, I am going to be adding some more because the poor birds just left kind of half there. So I need a little bit of tape. The tape doesn't really stick on this very well, but I just need something to hold it up because I'm going to be working around the corner and down the other side, adding my next transfer piece in. Then when I get that part transferred on, I can go ahead and I can remove my tape, and then I can start to remove that backing. I'm not going to let it fall all the way off quite yet until I get that one side done. I don't want to make the turn quite yet because I have to work around the hinge part right now, which is going to bubble up the paper a little bit. So I'm just going to work around that hinge to the best of my ability and pray for the best. Now I can pull it out. I worked around the hinges. I've got that all laid. Now I'm going to pull it all the way to the edge and then work into the edge. I want to make sure that that's good and adhered before making that turn of the corner. I just want to be safe. I don't want to tear the transfer. I don't think that I would, but it's better to go a little bit on the slower side, go little by little, adhering it, and then making that big decision. Finished up with the other side, but as you saw, I did my image towards the bottom because I wanted to add a little bit extra. Now, I'm not putting these in the direction that shows on the transfer pages. I'm just kind of hanging them from the top. I'm going to have to cut some more off. They're just going to be random. They're going to go over the side just a little bit. I have to work with the top a little bit. And you can apply transfers over transfers because some of these, the bottom transferred had an edge where you were supposed to match up another part. So I'm just going to layer some leaves over that and you won't know that something else was supposed to go there. But when I get into that curved part, I'll just go ahead and take some scissors and cut off that excess. Oh, it is just gorgeous. Oh my gosh, can you breathe it all in? But I do have a little bit where I cut off those excess and I'm not going to waste it. I'm not wasting it at all. There's enough of the edge on the other side, on the sides of this, that I'm going to go ahead in the same downward position. If they fit, I'm going to stick them. I have all the transfers on now. Now I'm taking some 200 grit sandpaper. And the first part I'm going to be working on is where the doors are, where that hardware, the hinges are. I'm just going to sand that a little bit. Then I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to make a little bit of a cut. And then I'll just take my finger or the sandpaper and just make sure that everything is folded down to make that perfect edge. You never have to worry about this matching over any type of cracked or crevices like that. It just falls into place. And for the hinges, I will just sand nice and tight, not sand it all the way off, just get it as close as I can. Any excess that's going to fall off, I want it to fall off now. When I think I have everything adhered, everything sanded, the crevices in between the doors, all that, I'm going to go back in with some Homestead clear wax and we're going to seal these transfers in, and it's just going to make them come alive. Oh, my heart is so happy of how this turned out. This broken down little cabinet. Yes, you will see some color coming off, but oh, just beautiful. So I didn't necessarily clear wax everything. I clear waxed the images mostly, and then what I just couldn't avoid getting onto the wood. But now I'm going back in with Jolie's black wax. I want to add age to this, so I'm taking the waxing brush right to the edges, right to that unsealed sweet potato paint, in the hopes that it'll stick in there and give it some age. So I'm going to wipe that on and then I'll blend it in with some of the Homestead clear wax. It just really gives it that I've been around a long time look. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Yes, some things aren't perfect. They're not perfect. You can't spend the time trying to make them perfect, making warped wood not be warped. It is what it is, but you can hide it. You can paint a fun color, like sweet potato. That is, I can't wait to find something else to paint into that color. But adding flowers, adding transfers, bringing your attention to something else, not the imperfections, bringing it into the beauty it can become, because it's useful. It is very useful. Who doesn't need an extra little cabinet, someplace to set decor, someplace to set something down, someplace to tuck something into? It was a nice piece, and it did not deserve just to go into the trash just because it had some brokenness and some warpage, but Bondo to the rescue. So let me know if I have inspired you in any way to save those very worst for wear items and give them a makeover and give them the much love that they deserve. And as always, if you love any of the IOD items I used, any of the fusion, any of the paint that I used today, it's all down in the description box. But make sure that you get those IOD transfers if you fell in love with them after this video, because it is the spring release and they will be selling out. So again, thanks for watching today's video. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you are new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you liked what you saw and you love to make over pre-loved items and you love to get inspiration from others just like I do, please smash that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.